So I continue to see in my comments this claim that China would be able to successfully conduct an amphibious landing onto Taiwan, and I'm here to once again reiterate that that is impossible. Period. It will never happen, ever. End of story. But just to kind of reiterate that and hammer this point home, let me focus specifically on just the transportation of troops alone from China to Taiwan and what that would take. So China would need 1 million troops to overwhelm Taiwan's incredibly robust defenses. The coasts of Taiwan facing China would be the most heavily defended beaches in the history of the world. They would have months to prepare, which sits atop decades of preparation that has already been in place. Those 1 million Chinese troops would be transported to the Chinese coast from within China, so they could prepare for an amphibious invasion of Taiwan. And Taiwanese and US spies would be able to see this taking place. So would US satellites. The whole world would know what China is doing in a buildup. The United States saw the invasion of Ukraine by Russia and the buildup taking place and predicted the invasion before anyone else in the world did, even Ukraine. We would know what's going on and we would tell Taiwan and they would prepare. From a pure lift capability, each Chinese amphibious lander carries 900 troops. These landers would have to make a 200-mile, 100 miles out, 100 miles back, round trip, crossing 19 times to land 1 million troops. Not one single boat could be lost, otherwise other boats would have to do it more. Also, the ports in China where the troops are loading, they can't be hit because they'd still have to be functioning. Even if they weren't destroyed, any attack that took place and didn't damage anything would still slow down operations. The same would go for the beachheads in Taiwan. Any delay on either side of the operation throws off the whole timeline. With load up, refuel, and travel times, each round trip would take around 18 hours per boat. That's assuming perfect conditions. No bad weather, no Taiwanese attacks on the boats or ports, no mechanical failures, no boats zigzagging through the Taiwan Strait because they're having to dodge enemy fire, which would slow them down. This is just a straight thunder run movement from China to Taiwan and back 19 times, and each trip, if it's perfectly executed, still takes 18 hours per ship. If they were going nonstop and didn't lose a single ship or have any delays, it would still take China 15 days to land 1 million troops. China could have 10 times the number of ships and it would still take 2 full days. But here's the kicker. There's not enough beachhead room on Taiwan to handle 600 ships landing nonstop for 2 days. They'd be jammed up, bottlenecked, and easy targets. Plus, China doesn't have 600 amphibious landing ships. They have 60. So let's compare this to arguably one of the most complex amphibious landings in history, and that is the Normandy invasion. That invasion by the Allies was 1 day long and involved 8 times fewer troops than what is required for Taiwan. The Taiwan Strait is 5 times larger than the English Channel and more treacherous. And even then, the Allies had deception on their side, air superiority, and naval dominance because it was the middle of the war. China has none of that because they would have to lead with an amphibious invasion. Crossing a 21-mile English Channel during World War II after tricking the Germans into believing that they were landing somewhere else is a whole lot different than crossing the 100-mile Taiwan Strait today under modern missile and satellite surveillance. Here's a bigger problem for China. The assault heavy package, the makeup that they would put together where each boat is carrying 900 troops, means that they could only carry 10 to 15 armored vehicles. So only about 250 of those 900 troops getting off the boat would have vehicles of any kind when they arrive. So just to get the necessary tactical vehicles to the troops landing on Taiwan, it would take an additional month of landings. And this is just tactical equipment, not logistical equipment, which would be an additional several months to move to the battlefield. Couple that with the logistics of coordinating which Chinese unit goes to which boat on the Chinese side, under whose command they fall, which port they're using, which beach they're going to land on the Taiwan side, and as we saw in Normandy, it becomes impossibly complex to deal with. Not to mention having to resupply them, provide air cover, as well as casualty evacuation, which honestly I just don't think they're going to do. All of this would be an impossible nightmare under fire. All of the barrages on Chinese ships in the strait, as well as on the beachhead in Taiwan, would cause huge amounts of confusion within Chinese command and control. So just to wrap this up in a nice pretty bow, the Chinese would not have surprise, they would have no air superiority, they would not have enough ships, they wouldn't have enough room on the ships they have, they don't have enough time to execute an amphibious landing, and oh yeah, the enemy gets a vote, and Taiwan is extraordinarily deadly. So those of you that think that China is going to find a way to land on Taiwan are absolutely wrong. I'm just here to reiterate that there will not be a Chinese invasion of Taiwan in my lifetime. Period. End of story.